One of the devices I've been anticipating the most, the Google Pixel 6a. I was curious to see their response to both the iPhone SE3 and also the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G. And now here we have it, the initial impressions, kind of initial review after 48 hours of this device. Price is always first, $449. Link to Best Buy will be in the description, but pay attention for a moment. If you have a trade-in, go to Google. They are offering some fantastic trade-in values for the 6A. If you don't have a trade-in, then use the link below because you get $50 from Best Buy, a Best Buy gift card to kind of ease the blow. You can pick up a game, some cases, whatever it happens to be. So the one thing that I was looking forward to getting my hands on and digging into with the Pixel 6a is Google's philosophy on mid-range devices, because we've seen from Samsung with the A53 5G, they're willing to throw you a bone with some of the flagship specs and flagship features like 120 hertz display, but they're a little bit lacking on the power. And then you see something like the iPhone SE, they're going to give you all the power in the world and good battery life, but they're going to do it in a form factor that's a little bit older and a little bit smaller. Well, Google seems to have straddled the line and come in between those two philosophies. And you have to wonder what they're trying to do with this. I think with the 6A, they're trying to appeal somewhat to enthusiasts, which Pixel people happen to be a lot of times, but they want to try to use this to branch out into that market that the Apple iPhone SE seems to have a corner on. The people that when you ask them what phone they have, and they say, oh, I have a Pixel, and then you ask them, oh, which Pixel? And they say, a white one. That type of group of consumer. And that is the vast majority of people buying phones. There's a reason why the Apple iPhone SE and the iPhone Mini were that popular. And don't discount the size of the device. 6.1 inches on the 6A is fantastic in the hand. It feels solid. The build is good. It's pocketable. And people, just general consumers who just want a device, that is a major factor when they go into the store and feel these devices. And Google wants to get their hands on a piece of that market. Bring Android to the people who usually just rely on iPhone for their support and their performance and their reliability. And I like what they've done. I always, except for the very first A series device that they came out with, the 3A, I really have advised people to stay away from the Pixel A design. The 4A and the 5A, I thought they were really giving you the worst of both worlds. They weren't giving you the power and performance of the flagship level devices that they had, and they weren't giving you the build or the features of the flagship, and they were just relying on the camera to carry the price. And it wasn't 2018 anymore. That wasn't going to work in a way that people would shell out a premium just for the camera on the phone when other manufacturers were offering some of the goodies that you'd expect on a flagship on these lower end or mid-tier devices. Google wised up to that, and they went with we're going to give you all the power. I'm going to cut back on some of the build, which I think they've done in a good way, because that was what we're going to have a comparison to the Pixel 6, but that was what I was wondering. Would the corners feel like they were corners cut, or would it feel like a still premium device for the money and run well? And have they accomplished that? I think they have. I like the build, like I said. I like the aluminum on the side here. Plastic back feels solid, but it's nice. Like the color on it. Like the screen. Tech Odyssey made a great point about them using Gorilla Glass 3. I don't care about the shattering. I really don't. I put a case on. I'm careful with my device. I care about the micro scratches. Nothing bugs me more than micro scratches. So the older Gorilla Glass on here, I think you're going to like in the long run a little bit better than the newer ones who are just shatter resistant, but they're a little softer because of that. So you get those micro scratches. If it just even sniffs your keys, goes near your keys, that's something that happens. The display, look, that 60 hertz stuff was nonsense. And you know me, I'm the first one. I'm like that guy in that meme with the folding chair that just snaps it out and wants to sit front row for any Google drama. But that was not it. There are a couple of things that absolutely get my blood pressure rising on this device, and we'll talk about them a little bit later in the video. But the 60 hertz is just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And a bunch of people I saw on Twitter and in the comments, well, the Xiaomi's of the world are offering 120 hertz. Yeah, you know what? Let me tell you something. Number one, try to use it in the United States, okay, on full features. Number two, tell me where that Xiaomi is in 2 years. Really, is it going to have the support? Is MIUI, all the stuff that they throw on there, going to be lagging it out like crazy? Because I know where this device with Tensor is going to be in 2 years. Tell me where that device is going to be in 2 years. And if it's something like the Samsung Galaxy A53 that gives you a 120 hertz display on a beautiful OLED panel, that thing runs like garbage now. I don't even want to use it now, let alone in 2 years. So if I got to sacrifice the performance and the longevity of something like this with the support that I know I'm going to get from Google, and that the trade-off is 120 hertz, well, I'm going to make that decision 10 out of 10 times. I'm going to go with something like this. And that's why I like the iPhone SE so much, because I love having the power, I love having that build, I love having the Apple support in exchange for a newer form factor and some of the features. Well, with the Pixel 6a, you get a newer form factor, and you get the support, and you get the performance. So don't worry so much about the screen. Don't listen to that nonsense about the 60 hertz. Oh, it's a slow 60 hertz. Oh, really? Seems fine to me. And I was just coming from my Google Pixel 6, which had 90 hertz. Perfectly snappy. You're not going to notice that, especially the performance is quite good. Battery life, it's still learning it. I'm getting about what I got on my Pixel 6 running Android 12, which we're going to talk about in a moment, but I really didn't notice any issues there. 5.5, 6 hours should be just fine. And of course, it's still learning. So on the week review and the 2-week review, there's going to be a lot of videos on this device. We'll get more into what the battery life actually is once it learns my performance. The camera is a Google camera. You know, I'm going to have the better shots for the week-long review. It's what you'd expect from a Google Lens. It's fantastic. The computational photography is there. The only thing that I noticed was when you're trying to focus in on close objects, sometimes it really struggles with that. It has issue when it comes. It seems to be doing okay there, but it depends. When it has to focus in, sometimes it'll give you a hiccup and snap around a little bit. But I noticed that a lot on iPhone as well, so that's not something I'm going to eat their lunch over. The other things, okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing this device on Android 13 because I'm running the April security patch. Mine has not gotten the July patch yet. I don't know if they're waiting for August. I don't know what it is. But having used the Android 13 beta and now come back to Android 12, it just really, it doesn't. Android 12 should have been taken out back and you know what? You know, 2 people go outside, only 1 person comes back in. That type of deal. And the only reason why I'm not going nuclear on them is because I've seen the other side of it. I've seen what they can do with Android 13. I've seen how smooth the social media experience can be on Android 13, how well the devices can run on Android 13. I've seen it, so I'm waiting for it. But the Android 12 experience, while not disqualifying in the least anymore, it's not like it was when the Pixel 6 first came out, is still not a fantastic experience. And the fingerprint sensor is good, okay-ish. You know, it works most of the time, not an issue. I get partial fingerprint a lot, which I don't know why. And it seems to have nothing to do with where I'm placing it, how long I push. It'll just be sometimes, as soon as I put it down, it'll ping me. And you can see the flash for the optical fingerprint sensor. And it says, partial fingerprint detected. And we have to understand the difference between glitches and lag. Because the A53 5G lags. Android 12 glitches. So it's not a hardware issue with Android, with the Google Pixel devices. It is very much a software issue with the Google Pixel devices. So keep that in mind. But then again, even the way it's running now on Android 12, well, I'm disappointed with it because I've just come from Android 13, which is buttery smooth. It is the best Android experience I've had in quite a long time. Android 13 running on the beta. So that's the step down that I took. So that's why I'm a little disappointed. But right now, this device is just running fine. I think all things considered and all things equal, I don't like comparing iOS devices to Android devices, but if if you're Brendan Fraser and they just unfroze you, and they show you, and you had a Razr, a Moto Razr, the original in your pocket, they said, oh geez, you need a new phone, and you had no idea about Android or the iOS ecosystem or any of that, and you wanted it, and your budget was $500, this is a really good choice. It really is. I think it gives you a newish design. I think it gives you enough of, I like the size on it, 6.1 inch display, good build, but then you have that tensor in there that really gets the job done with the 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. Fantastic. You're going to have that support as well. And I think that it trumps the iPhone SE with the older design and also the A53 5G, which comes in a distant last because of the various messes that it has here. And you get the Pixel stuff like Now Playing, like the camera, like Magic Eraser, all the little Pixel extras that they put in. Personally, I was waiting for this one, and I really like what they've done so far. We're going to have we're going to comparison to the Pixel 6. We're going to have comparisons to the A53 5G, and then we're going to have the longer reviews that go in depth on something like this. But like I said, if you got to give up wireless charge, if you got to give up 120 hertz, if you got to give up some of the other creature comforts that some of the other devices give you at this price range, but the result is this performance and this support, I think you do that. I think you do that. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.